Yeah, we've got 14% of the money.
Order. I've rung the bell. The member should sit down. Mr. Robertson, were you seeking the call? Grant Robertson.
And I want to pick up where Brendan Burns left off.
He didn't seek... Are you raising a point of order, Mr. Mellor?
I'm chairing from the seat that you did.
Mr. Chair, during the call that Brendan Burns has just taken, Simon Bridges interjected from the other side of the House that Labor was interested in envy tax. Well, I've got something to say to Mr. Bridges. What I'm interested in is a fair tax system where people pay their fair share. A fair tax system where people pay their fair share. And we've heard a lot about the need to tighten our belts as a country as we deal with recession. We've heard a lot from the other side about the fact that these are tough times and there needs to be cuts and we need to make sure that every dollar is spent wisely. And who is it that bears the brunt of the need to tighten our belts? Who is it who has to take the steps to deal with the recession? It's those on the lowest incomes. When do we see from the government on the other side, when the people who benefited most in the financial boom times, the people who benefited most from the very things that actually led to the recession, when do they pay their fair share, Mr. Chair? And that's why on this side of the House we are opposing this bill, because the abolition of gift duty is yet another step by this government in saying that the people who have to pay for the effects of the recession are those on the lowest incomes, while at the same time tax cuts, round after round of tax cuts, mainly benefit the highest income earners, and now we have gift duty being taken away, which, as other speakers have said, is not just about revenue. It's not just about the revenue gathered, it is about the tax avoidance measures. And what we now see, yet again from this government, is that we have... Well, Aaron Gilmore says a tax expert. I'll tell you what I think I might be a bit of an expert on, Mr. Gilmore, and that's fairness. And that's actually giving people a fair go. And Amy Adams decries the concept of fairness. Well, if we don't have fairness in our society, if we don't try and include people in our society and give them the chance to achieve their potential, then we run the risk of people feeling excluded. We run the risk of London-style activities happening because people have no role in the future of their society if we don't include them. If we keep, as a country, letting the gap between rich and poor grow, that is how social exclusion grows. That means people aren't able to fulfil their potential. And bills like this that abolish gift duty, taxation packages from the national government that favour those who have the most against those who have the least, will lead to the growth between the gap between rich and poor growing. This measure adds to unfairness. It does not mean that people will pay their fair share in our taxation system. And that, Mr. Chair, I would say should be the basis of any taxation system. Regardless of the details where tax experts are required, the fundamentals that parliamentarians get to decide on are whether a tax system is fair. And this government, throughout its term, has made our tax system more and more unfair. They have weighted all of the tax cuts in favour of those who earn the most, and for those who earn the least, for those who have actually struggled through the recessionary times, they're the people who constantly have to make the sacrifices. The sacrifices are not being made by those people who haven't paid tax for years and years. We've heard about Warren Buffett from Brendan Burns. We heard from Sam Morgan, who said that he should be paying more tax. He said that he should be paying more tax. And he should be paying more tax, and he acknowledges that he wants to do that. But Mr. Gilmore and his colleagues on the National Party side are saying, no, it's those on the lowest incomes who have to take the cuts in services. It's those on the lowest incomes who have the punitive measures put in place, and those on the highest incomes continue to get tax cuts. They no longer have to pay gift duty. Those are the people who are being favoured by this kind of provision, and that is wrong in my view, Mr. Speaker. To bring a bill before Parliament Parliament, as my colleague Leanne Dalziel said, through what's called an Administration and Remedial Matters Bill, but in actual fact, the removal of gift duty sits alongside other measures that are fundamental policy issues that, in my view, have made our tax system more unfair and in turn will make our society more unfair. We can do so much better than this, Mr. Speaker, by having a tax system that actually taxes income in all its forms, and I believe we must do that.
Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Chairman, I don't think we